If your Etsy views have suddenly dropped, or maybe your bestseller just died in 2025, I need you to know that it's not because your art got worse. Etsy markets itself like a cozy craft fair for handmade sellers, but under the hood, it behaves a lot more like Amazon with a flower crown. And if you don't understand that, you will take every dip in views personally. You will obsess over the perfect keywords, and you will keep burning out. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how Etsy works now, why keywords are not the main character anymore, and 2 things to focus on instead, so that you can stop spiraling about the algorithm and start acting like a business owner. There was a very specific moment where I realized Etsy is not a marketplace for handmade sellers. It is a profit machine. I had a listing that would get 80 to 100 views a day. And almost overnight, it dropped to 10. My photos didn't change. My reviews didn't change. Etsy changed. And I know that this change is directly related to the algorithm change that Etsy rolled out very quietly in mid-2025. I have more about this new algorithm change in a video here. Etsy is doing exactly what TikTok does with its For You page, because that model creates a lot more money and a lot more engagement. And then it hit me. Etsy is looking for what buyers click, what they favorite, what they add to cart, and what they actually buy. And then it's rearranging its entire marketplace around buyer behavior, not around who has the best handmade vibes, not around who's been here the longest, and definitely not around who has the most artistic talent. The unfair advantage is understanding that Etsy is no longer a search-based marketplace. It is a personalized, profit-driven recommendation engine. Let me know in the comments if you have noticed a drop in sales, a drop in views. Once I accepted that Etsy's #1 goal is profit and not supporting handmade like their marketing would suggest, I stopped taking it so personally when my views dropped or when my sales slowed down. And I started asking a better question. And it was this: okay, if this is how this machine works, how do I design my shop to work with it rather than against it? And that question is part of your unfair advantage. Let's translate Etsy 2026 into terms that you and I can understand. Old Etsy, the 2014-ish version when I joined Etsy, was mostly match keywords, sort by relevance and recency, and then good luck out there. New Etsy is much more sophisticated. So Etsy now uses keywords to understand what your product is, then uses AI and buyer data to decide who is most likely to buy that item. And then it shows them a personalized feed, especially on mobile. So if you are selling a handmade ceramic mug on Etsy, Etsy doesn't just say, show this product to everyone who typed in ceramic mug in the search bar. Instead, it says who actually buys ceramic mugs, who clicks on neutral toned stoneware, who bought from similar shops. Great, so I'll show it to those people first. So what does all of this mean for you, the seller? Keywords still matter, but more as a baseline so that Etsy knows how and where to file you. And then after that, the algorithm is watching. Does your thumbnail make people stop scrolling? Does your thumbnail make them click your listing? Do the buyers favorite your item? Do they add your product to their cart? And then do they buy it and not return it? Products that do all these things, Etsy goes, okay, great. This listing makes us money. Let's show it to more people like this person. Etsy in 2026 is not a platform that controls visibility based on a keyword list, but it acts more like a recommendation engine. And on top of that, a huge chunk of referral traffic to Etsy is coming from AI platforms like ChatGPT. People are literally typing in, find me a handmade stoneware mug for my mom. And ChatGPT and other AI platforms determine which Etsy listings show up in their search. So if you are still keyword stuffing and writing your titles and your tags and your descriptions like a robot, and you're only thinking about that internal Etsy search bar, you are missing the bigger picture. Your listings don't just have to make sense to Etsy anymore. It also has to be understandable by AI search tools that are sending traffic to Etsy. And yes, that sounds terrifying, but it's actually empowering because it's something you can work with. Here is the first big shift that I want you to make. Stop treating keywords like they are the hero of your listing. In 2026, they're more like the supporting character. So yes, still use all 13 tags and still use relevant keywords in your tags and your titles and your description. But after that, it's a much better use of your time and energy to focus on the thumbnail. So that first image that people see of your product. Because on that For You mobile style feed on people's phone, people see the photo first, then they see the price, and then they see a tiny bit of your title. That's it. So here is a quick thumbnail checklist. Is your product centered and fully visible in that photo? Is it on a clean or neutral background? Or is it clearly stylized? Are you making sure that there's no giant text slapped across the front of that image? Are you making sure that it's cropped for mobile? So make sure that it's a square or a 4:5 ratio. If you're hearing this checklist and you're like, my lighting's a little bit dark, the background is a little distracting, it is way more important to fix that first photo than to stress over the keywords. Your unfair advantage comes from realizing if Etsy is essentially TikTok for products, then my photo thumbnail is my hook. That is the thing that you A/B test, that is the thing that you obsess over, and that is the thing that you consistently keep trying to improve. The second thing that gives you an unfair advantage is this mindset. Etsy can be one aspect of my business, but it cannot be my entire business. And I definitely can't rely on it for all of my marketing. I know that's scary, especially if Etsy is where all of your marketing and your sales are coming from right now. But here's a harsh truth. Algorithms change. Rules around offsite ads change. Fees change. Etsy could shut down your shop or deactivate your best seller. If you build your entire income in your entire business on Etsy alone, you are essentially building your dream house on rented land, and your landlord can come and evict you at any time. If you take one action after the end of this video, I want it to be this. Start an email list. Not a Pinterest account, not a YouTube account, not I'll post more reels on Instagram. Those can be amazing and they can be powerful, and you can already have a huge audience on there, and that is a great thing for you. But your email list is the only thing that you truly own, and you can take it with you if Etsy disappeared tomorrow. And it lets you talk directly with your audience without an algorithm deciding if you're worthy or not. And if starting an email list sounds really overwhelming right now, here's the baby version. Pick any free platform. I know MailChimp has one, ConvertKit has one. Don't overthink the platform that you're gonna choose. Create the most simple freebie that you can create in an afternoon. Maybe a one-page printable wall art, maybe a phone wallpaper based on your artwork, maybe a studio tour video, and then put that link to your freebie in your shop announcement and in your Etsy message template. And then aim for 10 subscribers, not 100, not 1,000, just 10. And then this is the most important part. Email your list, even if you feel cringe, even if it's just once a month. Because every time Etsy dips, your email list is what lets you say, hey, I exist. Here's what I'm making and here's where to buy it. That's real power, and almost no one does it consistently. While we're here, let me save you from two really painful traps. Anyone giving Etsy advice that never mentions mobile, personalized feeds, or AI tools. If they just say things like use all 150 characters in your title, or they're saying things like just keep listing more products and Etsy will reward you, they are living in the past. Anyone who's promising you that you can replace your 9-to-5 job with Etsy alone. These people are selling you a fantasy. You need to understand that Etsy is a fast-changing, profit-driven platform that can drop you at any minute. And I know it's so tempting to think once my Etsy shop takes off, then I can start thinking about my email list, or then I can start thinking about building my own e-commerce site, or then I can start reaching out to that cute shop that I know my work would be a great fit in. But that's backwards. And you deserve a business model that doesn't make your nervous system spike every time they have an algorithm change. Understanding that is the unfair advantage. While most people are following outdated advice and hoping that Etsy will go back to being the cozy craft fair of 2014, you will be quietly building a real business. So if you feel discouraged or you feel invisible, or if you even feel like the Etsy algorithm is punishing you, you're not crazy. This platform has changed. It is more ruthless, more automated, and more like Amazon and TikTok had a deranged baby now more than ever. But that doesn't mean that you're doomed. It means that your thumbnails matter more now than ever. Your Etsy listings need to be written for human beings first and AI second. And most importantly, you cannot create a sustainable business in 2026 from Etsy alone. You don't need to fix everything in a week. You don't need the perfect niche. And you definitely don't need 100 new listings. When this video ends, don't go doom scroll more Etsy advice. Do one tiny thing instead. Update one thumbnail or rewrite the first 2 lines of your bestseller for a human and not the algorithm, or start your email list. That's it. That's how you build your unfair advantage on Etsy. If this video helped you see things a little bit more clearly, please let me know in the comments below. What is one thing that you are willing to change on your Etsy shop today? And if you want to go into a deep dive of how Etsy's algorithm works now in 2026, I have a whole playlist about that here. In these videos, I break down Etsy's new behavior-based search, how to optimize your listings using ChatGPT, and I show you exactly how I've been updating my titles, my tags. And in this video here, I show you exactly how I would start an Etsy shop in the year 2026 with all the knowledge that I've gained over these past 12 years of being on this platform. Thank you so much for being here, and now make something beautiful and go get paid for it. Bye.